was not easy this year. And I'm here to explain why I think we lost the game. And we could sit here and say Kevin Patullo all day. We could sit here and say Nick Sirianni, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we lost that game because of the defense. Let's be honest. Like, yes, the offense didn't perform, but did we go into that game thinking the offense was going to all of a sudden throw for 350, Saquon was going to get 200 rushing yards, and we were getting that Super Bowl game all over again? That's where the new Eagle fan doesn't realize how, like, the game works. I'm gonna be honest, most Eagles fans are kind of stupid. Um, but yeah, we knew the offense was going to struggle. Now we shouldn't have struggled as much because this defense just sucks. And I had to watch myself from cursing there. They're not that good, and they can be attacked in the slot, which we didn't do, which is the whole point of analytics. Because when you have analytics, you literally just sit there and pull apart what they're good at, what you're good at, what they're bad at, what you're bad at, and you attack what they're bad at till they show you that they adapted. It's not that hard. It's what everybody does. Yet we don't do it. It took me a week to film this because, well, I was a little beat down, and being an Eagles fan, whatever, I digress. And A.J. Brown dropped like 4 balls after yapping away all season long. And then when the big moment shows up, he doesn't. Now, the salary cap, dead space, all that fun stuff, we're not getting rid of him. And he's going to be a headache because he's a diva, and that's what wide receivers are. But he's one of the best in the league, so I'm fine with it. I'm not going to digress on that. Let's talk about defense. Jalen Phillips, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Jalex Hunt, Brandon Graham. You name everybody we have on that line. And all year we're making pressure on people. We're trading for Phillips. We got the best defensive tackle in Jalen Carter. I don't care if his shoulders were busted and whatnot. We made no pressure. Zero pressure. Now I understand he was getting the ball out. 3 5-step drop, scan, throw. 3 5-step drop, toss it off to McCaffrey because they didn't have wide receivers. But we should have played for that. We should have realized that maybe we move our coverage in a little bit. We watch on that. We keep 2 deep, play a Tampa 2, change it up a little bit, maybe even a cover 3. You could still get 4 people down there. You could have watched for that. Then George Kittle goes out. Then you really just watch for that. But our defensive line did not make any pressure. And then we're sitting here wondering why we didn't win. It's because of everything in the playoffs, offensive line versus defensive line, the trenches win on both sides of the ball. Our offensive line can't do nothing this year. I don't know why. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. And our defensive line didn't do crap this game. You can't win if you don't win in the trenches. And then let's have a conversation. Let's back the ball up into the defensive backs. All of a sudden, Quinion, all of a sudden, whoever you want to name back there, can't cover an inbreaker? Are you kidding me? An inbreaker? Literally, we were getting hit with slants and anything that cuts in, and we're like, and falling off to the side. It's not that hard. Watch their hips. They're only going where the hips are going. You can't physically turn the other way. Drives me wild, drives me insane that this team can't figure that out. But that's wild to me. And I don't think that that's something we did every game. I have to go back and watch that. In breakers became a weakness, but I'm here for the defensive line. They failed us. Vic Fangio's scheme failed us, and his adjustments to not getting any pressure failed us. Now we can talk about Kevin Patullo and how he saw cover 4 on that last play, called timeout, and called 4 verticals again against cover 4, and it's like mind-boggling because you got 4 versus 4, you got no advantage out there really, but again, digress. And he's run the same formations and he ran the same plays, and yes, that happens here and there, but there's always nuances into it. So we know Kevin Patullo sucks. Are we ready to admit that Nick Sirianni isn't the guy? I don't care if he won a Super Bowl last year. Our talent and our coordinators won that Super Bowl, in my opinion. Yes, he's a little bit of a CEO coach, but like there are CEO coaches out there, like the Hardballs of the world. You gotta find somebody who can make adjustments for your team, though, who isn't afraid to make those adjustments. And that's the problem. Nick's whole theory is we're just not going to turn the ball over and we're going to win. That's almost playing to lose. That's playing too conservatively. Yes, you don't want to turn the ball over. Yes, we won the turnover margin and we still lost. So, like, what difference does it make? He's not doing enough. And he's saying he's doing this homework and he's saying, he goes and he studies for hours and blah, 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 blah. Yet the same product shows up on the field time and time again because he's too afraid to pull the trigger. And on top of that, he doesn't know how to get talent. We've seen it in 2023 when he had to pick the coordinators. We've seen it in 2025 when he picked the coordinators. It's not his forte. So if you can't make adjustments and you can't pick the talent, you can't be a CEO coach then. If you don't know how to be a coordinator on top of that, you shouldn't be in the league. Now we're gonna miss out on a lot of good coaches in this realm because there's the Stefanskis are gone, Harbaugh's gone. We're missing out on good chances. I'm hoping a good coach comes next year because if we start off slow or the offense starts off the same way because he's coming from the offensive side of the ball, Nick Sirianni, expect him to be gone. Expect Vic Fangio to have to step in as an interim till we get somebody because we shouldn't be waiting around. Howie Jeffrey, we shouldn't be waiting around. I'm glad you won a Super Bowl. That's great. Same with Doug Peterson. That's great. You have to keep progressing. You don't get the rest on last year. That stuff doesn't work. That's not how it works. So, Vic, I need you to sit at home, realize, figure out the concepts that you got beat by Kyle Shanahan's offensive mind because he is a guru, but your defensive line let us down. That's my biggest thing. We knew the offense was going to be bad. We expected the defense to cause some havoc, to cause their offense to slip backward. And we didn't do it to the extent that we needed to do it. You all let me know what you think the Eagles lost for, but I'm going to blame the defensive line because it's just too easy to blame Kevin Patullo because there's 70,000 videos out here who probably are already blaming Kevin Patullo.